Alright, hello everybody, Shocking Sean here. I'm just gonna make a quick live stream talking about, well, a lot of things for new players. This is primarily for a friend of mine who just started playing Genshin Impact. So, first thing I want to talk about are just the absolute basics. Now, what are the basics? Well, leveling up your character, making sure your character has a weapon equipped, artifacts, talents. What are they all? How do you upgrade them? What is resin? Why does resin have to be used for everything, and why do I have so little of it? Alright, so, number one priority for me, in my opinion at least, is leveling up your character's base level, and to do that, you're going to need XP books. So we'll go over to Mondstadt where you start the game. In Mondstadt, you'll see these blue ley lines. They're called Blossoms of Revelation, and they'll give you XP books. Now, your world level is going to be lower than mine if you're just starting the game, so you won't get as many, but you'll get what you need to get your character up to, well, when you start level 20 is what you want. And then you want to level up your weapon, and how you level up your weapon, excuse me, is you want to punch rocks. You want to have somebody who has a claymore, or at least a sword, and you want to find mining spots. Now I'll take you to one real quick. You can mark the map with a pickaxe to show this is a mining spot. That's what I did when I first started the game. I don't need these materials anymore because I have farmed so many of them. And bam, here you go. They look like this. So you come out here. Do not use a bow character because you will do jack crap. Don't even use a pole arm because you're not going to be able to break the harder to break materials unless you just sit there for a while. You're going to want a character with a claymore. So let me just pull one out. Diluc, for instance, uses a claymore. You'll probably have Noelle, because I'm pretty sure she's free. So Noelle is this. Where is she? She's a Geo character. Did I pass her out? Here she is. She uses a claymore. Pull her out, and then whack. Bam. See how much you chunk those now? Pick those up. Go over here to Mondstadt. And whammo, you'll find yourself a blacksmith. His name's Wagner. Go ahead and throw some of those blue chunks at him. Whoops. And then, yeah. Get yourself some weapon upgrade materials, some mystic enchantment ores. There's 3 variations. There's gray, green, and blue. Blue is the best. You can make gray ones with just regular ore. Then there's fine ore. And then there's mystic ore. You can also talk to Wagner, and he will tell you where you can find some. Any tips on finding ore in Mondstadt. I think you can do this once or twice a day. And then you'll get yourself some ore. If you really need weapon level up materials fast, you can actually get this kind. It costs 10 resin and 3 of those really blue stones, and then you'll instantly make some of those mystic ores. I don't need to. I did at a time when I just wanted to level up certain characters fast. That's totally up to you. And yeah, so that's weapons. Characters, like I said, just get XP books. All of my characters level 90, so I can't really show you. And then once your character hits level 20, you will need weapon, or not weapon, you will need character ascension materials. So that's going to look like this for you. You're going to need 3 types of flower or whatever the character uses. It's a world item, tells you how to find them. Found in the wild at night, found in Wolvendom, found in the Whispering Woods. It will tell you what locales to look in. If you want to, you can go on Google and look up where all of them are on the map. If you just want to explore, you can. So that's that material. Then these at the end are going to be materials that you get from fighting enemies. It tells you what kind of enemies drop them. You'll likely pick these up without knowing what they are, so you'll have a few if you miss them or you need them. Just go ahead, look at what enemies drop them, pull out your adventurer's handbook, and the enemies you need to beat will be in this list. For him, it was the Fatui skirmishers. They look like this. And then, as you can see, they drop what you need. Now, the game will tell you where a certain amount are, and then it will stop telling you where they are after you kill a certain amount. But there are more on the map if you look. You can look up guides to find every single one in Mondstadt and Liyue when you're starting the game, if you really want to do that. You don't have to. Take your time with this game. You're not supposed to rush in this game. You're just supposed to take it one day at a time and slowly build your characters up. Oh, and speaking of building your characters up, be careful who you build. Pick a character you really like and then build around them. So, for instance, you get Kaya, Lisa, Amber, and the Traveler, and I believe Barbara and Noelle at first. I'm not sure when you get Barbara and Noelle. I know you get Lisa, Kaya, and Amber, like, they're the first characters you get. So if you really like Amber, great. Build up Amber, make her your DPS. She can be a DPS. Kaya, same thing. You can build any character any way you want because of artifacts. You can get artifacts that boost attack, defense, health, healing, etc., etc. So if you want to make a DPS Barbara, go right ahead. I've seen it. Crazier things have been done. So pick a character and then build a team around them. You want to go for like elemental reactions that deal like buku numbers, so like fire and water, that works. Fire and ice, that works. If you want to do more uh, interesting things besides just high numbers, you can go for water and ice and freeze people. Water and electricity, that'll spread around electro damage. It's cool. And then make sure your team can also survive. So bring a healer or a shielder, maybe both. So like I would recommend starting off by using both Barbara and Noelle, and then I might recommend using Kaya and Amber, so that way you have the melt reaction. And you'll have a person of each persuasion. You'll have 4 different weapon types. You'll have a sword, a bow, a claymore, and a tome user. So that's good. Yep. And then you'll have water, fire, and ice. Yeah, that's very good. And you'll have Geo for shielding. Anyways, and then the other material that I didn't tell you too much about was this first one. So these are gems, I believe, fragments, and then chunks, and then gemstones. Yeah. So you're just gonna need an agate, which is just like a fraction of a gemstone. It's the easiest kind to get. So it tells you what kind of bosses you need to defeat. Now, bosses cost 40 resin, and this is where we start talking about resin a little bit. So to get that character ascension material, you're going to need to beat the Pyro Regisvine, which is actually in Liyue. The ice one's in Mondstadt, so ice characters are a little easier to beat at first. So yeah, you want that, the Nemo one, and then you roll on over to Liyue, and then the Pyro one. And as you can see, it drops what you need. Again, you will be a lower world level, so you won't get all of this. You'll see something different, but it will have the agates, guaranteed. So that's how you get those. And then, by the way, if you need the blue agates for when your character is level 40, and you need to get to the next ascension part, then you will need the fragments, and then you'll need these, which are dropped by a specific boss. It's the same boss I just showed you, the Regisvine in Liyue, the Pyro Regisvine. And if you have a bunch of the green material and you have no use for it, you can go to the crafting table, and then you can take 3 of them and turn it into 3 of them and turn it into one of the blue ones. Same thing with 3 of the blue ones. Take them, turn it into a purple one. Get 3 purple ones, turn it into a gold one. Same thing goes for talent books. Same thing goes for uh, weapon ascension materials, and same thing goes for character and weapon ascension materials. Basically, you have 3 of something, you can level it up until it's the max. So even if you get the lowest tier stuff, it's not worthless. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about resin and domains and ley lines and weekly bosses. So resin, if you open up your map, it'll be that symbol at the top right of the screen that my finger is kind of pointing to. It is, for me, 64 out of 160. You get 1 resin every 8 minutes. So in order to do 1 domain or 1 ley line, that is 20 resin. 20 resin equals 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's 160 minutes. Okay. In order to recharge all of your resin, man, that's a long time. That is 160 minutes, and then it's times 8. 160 times 8. It's 800 plus 480. 1,240 minutes, and that is how many hours? 60 minutes an hour. 1,240 divided by 60. 124 divided by... You know what? Let me just pull up my calculator real quick. Let me just do it like this. 8 times 160 is 1,280. Oh, yeah. I already figured that out. Okay, and then that 1,280 divided by 60. Whoops, wrong number. 1,280 divided by 60 takes 21 hours and 33 minutes to completely refill your resin. Well, 21 hours, 31 or 33 minutes and 33 seconds, and then underline for infinite. So yeah, 21 hours and 33 minutes. We're just gonna say that to completely refill it. So like 24 hours basically. It's a whole day. So be very careful with your resin is the point, because it takes a long time to come back. So 20 resin is valuable because you can use it to get Mora or XP books. And then you can use 40 resin to do bosses for those ascension materials for your character. You can also use 20 resin for talent level upgrades and weapon ascension upgrades. Let me delve into talent levels. I'm sorry this is a lot. There's a lot to the game, and I'm trying to give an overall guide. If you need to pause it or rewind or anything like that, go ahead. I'll try to put timestamps below for each subject I'm talking about. After I... this is a live stream. I'll try to edit it afterwards. I don't know if I can. So, talent materials. Let me go to somebody who isn't fully built. Okay. So, Amber. Okay, I don't have anybody like really low except for maybe like 1 or 2 characters, and hopefully I can find one. I think my lowest character is the Opera Girl. Yep. Okay, so this is closer to what you will see. You're gonna need green books, and they will upgrade the damage for your basic attacks in this case. They'll upgrade the whatever your skill does, it will upgrade it. If you heal, you'll do more healing. If you do damage, you'll do more damage. If it gives you a shield, you will have a stronger shield. So you're going to want to upgrade these. These are like base level things. They're very important. Upgrade your ultimate. And to get these talent materials, like I said, domains. 20 resin a pop. And you can also use a trick to condense your resin, so you can make 40 resin into a condensed resin. And condensed resin can only be used in domains and ley lines. So, like, for Mora, XP books, weapon ascension materials, and talent materials, and artifacts, that's what you can use condensed resin on. You can't use it for bosses. Alright, wish you could. To get condensed resin, you need to find these butterflies. I'll show you a quick example of what they look like. They look different in each region. I've already collected a bunch of them, but I have a spot where I didn't collect them. Oh, I'm sorry, there's so much stuff on the map. Brrr, boy, oh boy, here we go. They look like this. There's these little green butterflies. And Mondstadt, they're going to be like wind, Nemo colored, so like blue and whitish. And Liyue, they're going to be gold butterflies, and they give you crystal cores. And then you have to have 40 resin, and then bam, condensed resin. You use that condensed resin in domains and ley lines, like I said. Okay, so I covered talent materials for leveling up your character's skills. And now let's talk about weapon ascension materials, which are also in domains. Domains are basically these structures, by the way. They look like this, or they might be like pressed up against a cave, like this. Sometimes, in order to access these, you just have to do a small puzzle or something like that. It's not too hard. And yeah, weapon ascension materials. They look like this. Let me find a different weapon. Here we go. Look like... Can I, like, see the other levels, please? Hold on. No. Okay, you know, let me look at this one again. Okay, Ascension Preview. God, it doesn't have too much. Anyways, you will see Ascension materials you need. Just like a lot of other things, it will tell you the days that it's available and where to go to get this specific kind of material. And bwammo. There you go. So, we've gone over weapon ascension materials, we've gone over talent levels, and we have covered character ascension. It's a lot to take in. You want to prioritize level for the character, then weapon, then talents, then artifacts, in my opinion. Oh, now we get to talk about the funnest part of the game. Artifacts. Oh, these are hell. And the reason they're hell is because they're completely RNG on what you get. So, this is a decent looking one, even though it has HP and defense for substats. Okay. Here's a really good, well, could be better. Here's a really good one, kind of. So artifacts will have a main stat. Let me show you ones that you're going to have for the beginning of the game. So you're going to find ones like this. They'll just give you HP. They won't have any substats. If you find a green one, you'll have better stats. See how the HP is way higher, twice as high. Rarity really matters. If you find a blue one, use it. It'll start off with one substat. Every 4 levels, you will get an extra substat. If you already have 4 substats, every 4 levels it will increase one of the substats. And of course, it will also increase the main stat of the artifact. Artifacts also run in sets. So let's look at this set. The Gladiator's Finale set. If you use 2 of these, you get 18% attack. If you use 4 of them, you get that passive. If the wielder of this artifact set uses a sword, claymore, or polearm, increases their normal attack damage by 35%. Very useful on certain characters. That's for characters that are doing just basic attacks. So, that's artifacts in a nutshell. I could make a whole video on this. In fact, I have. Ooh, somebody wants to join me. Why not? And somebody else must have got to him before me. Anyway, that's artifacts. Also in domains. Also cost 20 resin, or you can use condensed resin. And the reason people use condensed resin is to save time. You don't gotta, but you can. Okay, let's go over the Adventurer's Handbook too, real quick. In the Adventurer's Handbook, you're gonna want to do these experience things. They will give you very useful resources. They will give you all kinds of stuff. Do them. They will help you progress immensely.
Every course of action
They
has
will
a
also
twist.
tell you your daily commissions. You can, here's a cool trick, specify where you want to do your commissions. You can do them in Mondstadt, you can do them in Liyue, you can do them in Inazuma, you can do it in Sumeru, or you can hit random. I recommend picking one region, so that way they're all kind of close together and you're not looking around the whole map for commissions. Make sure you do these every day. They give you free Primo Gems. Once you complete them, it will give you 20 Primo Gems when you talk to Catherine, and a random Ascension material, an agate, part of a gemstone, weapon upgrade materials, etc. Friendship points. I'll briefly touch on friendship points. So all of my characters are friendship level 10 except for Dory. She is friendship level 6. Doesn't matter too much. Um, they just give you banners, and you can read dialogue and hear them talk about their story more in this profile tab. So yeah, it's a neat little thing, but it's not too important. I just am a little crazy, and I have literally gotten everybody to friendship 10. And a little trick, by the way, you don't have to essentially do things with characters. I mean, you have to do things with them to get their friendship level up, but like when you beat a Blossom of Wealth, you can quickly switch to a team that has characters that need or that you want to boost up friendship points with, and then bam, switch to this team. Dory's in this team. You collect the reward, bam, friendship points. You go to collect a commission, put out the team that you want friendship points for, bam, friendship points. Don't worry about that too much at first. That's just for like later in the game if you really want to just do it for whatever reason. You like the character, or you want to hear more dialogue, or you just want a banner. Banners are these. My god, there's so much stuff to go over in this game. It's kind of insane. I'll make more specified videos, one by one. I will. But this is just an overall comprehensive guide. And maybe I'll wrap this up soon. So banners, name cards, whatever you want to call them. So these are like character ones. This is Cynos. This one is Kali's. This one is Tonari's. This one is Shinobu's. Kuki Shinobu. This one is Ito's. You get the idea. Once they hit level 10 friendship, you can collect them. Okay, let's talk about some free stuff you can get from the Battle Pass. Always do these because the materials they give you, especially for when you start out the game, it's pretty huge actually. Like 16,000 more, 4 Mystic Enchantments, 3 blue books. It's great for new players. And if you want, you can be like me and you can get the pass, which costs $10 a month. I get $3 off every month because of a coupon I have for Google Play, because I have a crap ton of Google points. But anyway, moving on from that, let's talk wishes, because I don't think I've talked about wishes yet now that I think about it. So, very important that you pick carefully, because there are characters that you won't be able to build until you reach certain levels. But what do I mean by that? You will have access to Mondstadt and Liyue at first. This character, the Wanderer, is amazing. You can't build him past level 20 till you hit AR 35 and you go to Sumeru. Ito, he's an Inazuma character. You're not going to be able to build him until you're AR 30. So if you see a character you really like, you can pull for them, but maybe look up where they're from and realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't pull for this character because they are from so and so, which sucks, but it is what it is. You want to pull for characters that you can actually build. The standard banner has Mona, Keqing, Chi-Chi, Diluc, and Jean. Now, I would recommend starting with this banner. The downside to this banner is you can get a weapon instead of a character, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Um, but yeah, let's delve more into the nitty-gritty of the exclusive character banners. These banners usually last, I think, 21 or 28 days, something like that. And they are going to give you the featured character or a standard character. So what's the difference? The exclusive banner character is the one they're promoting, the Wanderer. There's a system called the 50-50. If you get a 5-star and it's not the Wanderer, you lost the 50-50. Next time, you are guaranteed to get the character on the banner, and this does transfer over for one banner switch. So if you don't get the Wanderer, you can hold on to your pity, it's called, and you will get the character on the next banner. Or if you really want the Wanderer, you can keep on pulling until you get him. And the second time you see the gold, the 5-star character coming in, you know it's the Wanderer. So every 90 draws, you are guaranteed to get a 5-star character. After 70 draws, pity kicks in. Pity is the game's like, hey, you haven't gotten a 5-star in a while. We'll throw you a bone and up your rates. So the rate drop increase isn't crazy higher, but the higher you get to 90, the higher the rate goes. So I've never gotten to 90. I've gotten to 88. Um, I recommend doing 10 pulls until you get to pull 70. And the reason why you want to do single pulls after 70 is because if you do a 10 pull and you get your 5-star, I don't think the pity counts for all the characters after the 5-star. It'll count the 5-star as the last one, I think. I could be wrong on that. I personally just always do single pulls once I get to 70. Otherwise, I always do 10 pulls. Um, and then weapon banner. If you want weapons, you go to the weapon banner. So, weapon banner will always give the weapon of choice for the featured character. For Ito, it's the weapon on the right. For the Wanderer, it's the weapon on the left. And then there's 4-star weapons they're featuring to the right over there. The pity is different for 5-star weapons. You can get a 5-star weapon after 70 pulls. Now, unfortunately, there is something that sucks about this. You are guaranteed the weapon after you lose 3, after you don't get it twice. So you could potentially, worst case scenario, go through 210 draws to get the weapon you need. But that is worst case scenario. I don't think that's happened to. It might have happened to a couple people, but unlikely is my point. And I'm pretty sure pity kicks in 50, 55, I'm guessing, for the weapon banner. You can look it up under details, but I'm just going to off the top of my head it. So standard rate is 0.6% for a 5-star. And every 10 draws, you're guaranteed a 4-star, which is a purple. Alright. And then standard is weapons and characters, but the upside to this is it's great for beginners because whatever the game throws at you, you can build. Alright. Moving on. Let's talk about... what else is there to talk about? I know there's plenty. I've talked about resin. Let's talk about... oh yes, weekly bosses. So weekly bosses are the only thing in the game that costs 60 resin. But your first 3, and you probably won't have more than 3 for a while when you start the game, cost 30 resin. But after you do 3 of them, and I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think there's 8. I think there's 8 now. So if you need to do all of them after the first 3, they cost 60, and they're really for very specific materials. You're not going to need to do them off the bat. You can if you want to, because for 30 resin, they give a generous amount of stuff. And you can get billets, and they drop agates, and they drop artifacts, which is nice. You won't always get billets. They're pretty rare, by the way. But later on in the game, you're going to need them for these. So once your character gets higher up in talent levels, they're going to need weekly boss materials. And you can only beat weekly bosses once a week. So just keep that in mind. You can also, if you don't get the weekly boss materials you need, you can go over to crafting. And weekly boss materials will also drop these if you get lucky, which it usually gives like 1 pretty commonly, not all the time, but you'll get these dream solvents. And you can transfer over these materials to ones you need. And I'll show you what that looks like. So once your character gets to, I believe, talent level like 7, you'll start needing them. And they look like this. You'll just need 1 unless you're at talent level 9. And the only reason why it's 12 for me is because I have this constellation that gives him 3 more levels. So that's why it says 12, because 9 plus 12 is 13. But yeah, once you reach level 9, it'll be 2. And a crown. Crowns, we won't even go into crowns. I'll just sum it up by saying you get them through events the game holds every once in a while. If you see them, go for them. But like maxing out talent levels is really, you only want to do that for your favorite characters. It is kind of unnecessary, but it's like, you know, it increases the stats of the character, and why not? Okay. What else is there? There's so much to cover in this game. I feel like I've covered a lot. I've covered a lot of the basics. Cooking, I guess we can talk about real quick. Now you can cook, and I recommend you cook a lot of stamina reducing things at first, because you'll be exploring a lot. And the best one is, I don't know where the recipe is, but let's see. Oh wait, it's a little lower. I have so much food because I've been all over the place. It is delicious Barbados Ratatouille. It decreases all party members' gliding and sprinting stamina consumption by 25% for 900 seconds. Very useful at first because you're going to be running around a lot. You can go over to any stove, anybody that serves food, look around, they'll probably have a stove. Places that just like sell you ingredients will, but places that sell cooked food generally will. At Mondstadt, it's here. And you can also create food to just heal. So you don't need to run a healer, you can just run food. And my favorite thing to make, because it's easy, it just requires sweet flowers, which are everywhere, and chicken legs. And bam, got yourself some healing. Okay, I think that's all of the important stuff. I don't want to overwhelm people too much, so I'm going to end here. I'm going to make more specialized, like, individual videos talking about each thing. They're maybe like 5 or 10 minutes long each. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. This has been, I think, my first live stream on YouTube. I usually live stream on Twitch. I wanted to live stream both at once, but I'm on PS5, so I'm limited. Yeah. If I forgot anything or you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments below. If you like this, please like and subscribe and blah, 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 all that good stuff. Alright, Shock and Sean out.